Welcome back. In this tutorial we're going to cover normal ortho number 4. And this is going to be a little bit different because we're going to have multiple extrusions here in order to get this part made. So now's a good time to talk about two different methodologies that we can use to make a part. One is called material addition and one is called material subtraction. They're pretty self-explanatory. Material addition means you keep adding material to get your part. Material subtraction means you have solid and you remove material to make it. So if we take a look at number 4, we can start off by asking our questions. So how would I describe this shape? And I would describe this shape as being an L shape on top of a rectangle. Which view do we best see the shape? I would say the top view. That's where we see the L and we see this rectangle as well. Our last question is, does this part have symmetry? And the answer is no, this part does not have symmetry. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw in our rectangle first. So it's 3 1/4 by 1 3/4 by 3/4 tall. So if we pop back to Inventor, get rid of our last demo that we did, and we sketch on top view. Remember, double check top view. Always got to double check excuse me, to make sure that our top view reads correctly. So we're going to put in a 2-point center rectangle that is 3.25 by 1.75, and we're going to extrude that 0.75. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sketch on top, rotate, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to draw in the L shape, being careful not to let it click on the midpoint of this line, because if we can get back without looking at my Camtasia, this line is 1 inch, which means this line has to be 3/4. We do not want to be in the middle because that's going to lock this line. It's going to constrain it to the midpoint. So we're just going to draw in an L shape. Size of the lines, lengths do not matter at this point. What we're going to do is come back and dimension it later. So this is 1 inch, this is 1/2, this is 1/2, and this is 1 3/4. So this is a circumstance that comes up sometimes when you're trying to grab a line and it gives you the wrong line. I'm just going to pick this line and this line because the distance between those two really does drive. I think that was 1 3/4. Yeah, 1 3/4. Okay, so there's our L shape, and so what we're going to do is we're going to extrude this up 1. And now if we double check, we do a distance between the top and the bottom. It's 1 3/4. So that is material addition. Now I'm going to cover material subtraction. So what we're going to do is we are going to take this first block and make it 1 3/4 inches. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come back into our sketch and we are going to draw in geometry on the negative side, what we want to cut. So I'm going to close up this shape. Now we extruded this profile before. What we're going to do is come in and extrude this profile as a cut. So extrusion 2, we are going to hold down Control and unselect that. We're going to select this, make it a cut. Now we can see that we're going to get an error message if we hit OK, because it is pushing the cut up from the top instead of down, and so there's nothing to cut, so it's going to tell us it doesn't produce a meaningful result. Solution is to flip it and then hit OK. So this is kind of one of those 6 of one, half dozen of another kind of scenarios where it doesn't really matter to me how you make this part. I'd say have a little bit of experience with both, but either way is fine with me. So that concludes number 4. We'll see you in the next one.